Just my 2 cents. Real Housewives of Potomac reunion. Yellow was a good color for all the ladies. I think they all looked decent, I would say. I hated that little, I hated whatever that material was on the inset of Ashley's gown. I didn't like that. I hated Robin's hair. But other than that, I think they all looked pretty okay. Even Giselle looked nice. I saw a group shot of them posted on the Facebook page for the show, and I noticed that Giselle had kinkles in her heels. I was like, wow. But anyway, my thoughts on what was said at the reunion and stuff on this first episode of the reunion. First off, I think that the tea that Monique had in that binder, nothing was new for anybody who's familiar with Jamal Bryant from Baltimore. I think it was about 15 years ago when news and word spread that a grandmother walked down the middle aisle of the church shouting and screaming in the middle of the church service because he had slept with and impregnated her teenage granddaughter. So Monique telling all this about him spraying his big D, and she had to say big D, which kind of like cracked me up. But that, you know, he's been spreading it around town. Like, that's not new news for anybody from the Baltimore area. And she had Giselle sitting there shook, like, it's like she didn't have anything to say, no comeback whatsoever. And I don't know if it's because the image that she thinks she's protecting, but it's like, lady, everybody, I mean, people know who Jamal is at this point, so I don't know, and it's not hard to take a look and see all the accusations that have come about him over the years. Wow, that really says something about what kind of person you are and how much you really want to be on this show for you to actually consider taking him back. Like, a grandmother came down the middle aisle of your church yelling because he had impregnated her teenage granddaughter. Teenager. At this point, all three of your daughters are teenagers. Like, can you imagine somebody preying on them and impregnating them? Somebody of influence? Because let's not get it twisted. Like, he was very, very popular here. So I'm back to finish my 2 cents about the Real Housewives of Potomac's reunion last night, part 1. As I was saying about Jamal, he was real popular here. Very well known, and basically everybody knows. I mean, it was just all kinds of rumors everywhere. I've had family members that attended that church while he was the pastor, and they told me certain things. You know, not just about Jamal as a person, but about the parishioners, like some of the women, you know, the things that they would be saying in the line after service as Jamal is standing there waiting to, you know, greet them or them to go up and greet him at the services. So, yeah, that was that. So for me, those receipts, it was old tea. Now, she did put it on blast, saying, basically showing that in her eyes, the relationship is fake. Because what woman really is going to take a man back after that? And the fact that he was, like, they only had a few scenes of him actually with her. And as Karen said, he lives in her phone or whatever. So, it probably was fake. You know, and she just didn't have a comeback for that. The other thing I wanted to mention is this whole, the point that Wendy brought up about, colorism and the use of triggering words like aggressive used by Ashley. One, I think Wendy was correct in that, like, as far as the colorism stuff goes, like, yes, they do use that word and they run with it when it comes to a dark-skinned woman, a dark-skinned black woman, to make her seem, like the worst of the worst and stuff like that. And my whole thing is, yes, Wendy, that is very true. Coming from a dark-skinned woman myself, yes, it's very true that they use that word and use the word aggressive or mean, nasty, and stuff like that to make dark-skinned women seem more threatening. And I think it was Robin who chimed in. Or no, Wendy asked Robin. Like, basically, the whole thing with Ashley, like, Ashley has said nasty and mean things to people as well. And when I know what it was, when they were comparing Ashley to Candace, in my opinion, Candace is exactly like Ashley. They are both two of a kind, two different complexions, of course. But they're both two of a kind with their attitudes and how they spray everybody's business and attack and can be very, and both, especially, they can both be very ferocious. Candace can really, really hit below the belt, like when it comes to the Twitter and stuff like that. Apparently from what they say, because I don't follow her, so I don't see her tweets and everything. But I do hear the nasty comments and things that she makes at the reunion shows or, in person when they're filming. As far as Ashley is concerned, Ashley is like really, I'm going to say it, she's very ferocious when it comes to attacking people's character. And when she finds out one little secret and she want to keep gnawing and gnawing and gnawing and gnawing at a person, trying to get them to blow up and come back at her in her scenes. She really came for everybody when the show first started out. Did she change? It seemed like she had changed a little bit. When she first, when this season first started, after having had baby Dean, like, it seemed like she changed, but her true colors started to show towards the end of the season. She is still that same nasty, person. And that was real vindictive of her to say, I wanted to try to help Monique out and write that statement for her. And, to help Monique, she wrote that statement talking about her her issues with Candace, and that time that Candace asked her to leave, and then she left and then came back inside that lady's house. Like, you had no business going back inside her house. I don't care what the producers told you or whatever. You shouldn't have went back inside that lady's house. So you get what you get, okay? You're no better than Candace at all. You're no better than her. Y'all both were doing the same things to people. And then I think Robin tried to say that the difference between Candace and Ashley is that Ashley apologized. But what does it mean to apologize and then come back doing the same stuff? Still attacking people like the apology is naught at this point. And again, with Wendy, with the comments about the Ashley using the word aggressive and stuff like that. Like, Candace also called Monique ghetto hood trash. And that was two brown-skinned black women going back and forth at each other and stuff like that, saying disparaging comments about each other. I also think that Candace was wrong for using that, because to me personally, I feel like when a person calls you hood, thug, ghetto, trash, those kinds of words, those are code words to say nigga without saying nigga. And it's wrong. It's completely wrong. I don't agree with that. My other thought is too, Wendy, like, you got on my nerves. You threw your degrees up in everyone's faces this whole season. Okay? You threw your degrees up at everyone to try to make it seem like you were better than them for those degrees. And also you threw your Igbo Nigerian culture in everyone's faces, because I feel like you try to use the fact that you have a culture, an identifiable culture that you come from. You threw that in their face as to say, like, I'm better than you because you are American born black people. We don't really have a culture. Like, we try to create something out of, you know, slavery and things like that. Like, we tried to create something, but we don't have anything that, like a genuine culture from the motherland that, you know, that we can identify with, whereas Wendy does because she's from Nigeria. You get what I'm saying? Like, and they like to throw that in people's faces as well. And she did use that I have an identifiable culture that's recognized that I can throw in you guys' faces too. So it was like a little, to me, it seemed as if she was using her culture and her education as a way to one up the ladies. Like, I'm better than you all. You know what I'm saying? So she did that, but for the most part, I mean, to me, it seemed like she was a little bit okay. I liked her a little bit, but it started to wear on me and get on my nerves. That got on my nerves this whole season. Candace and that fucking tissue got on my nerves. I know that tissue was about crunchy as hell by the time we got to the end of the season because, like, girl, I agree with Funky Dineva or Quentin Latham, whichever you like to call him. I agree with him when he said, like, when he was saying this whole season in his reviews, you know, girl, you didn't have a knockdown drag out fight. You invited her to drag you, and that she attempted to do. It was just a tug of the hair. She didn't really get to hit you and punch you all in the face and do all those things for you to be crying and carrying on as you have this whole freaking season. Like, come on. And yes, you could be raised two different ways and come from two different cultures, but let's not act like you really did stretch this out for the whole freaking season with, oh, I'm taking pills or medications or whatever. I'm going to therapy and all this because I'm anxious because I don't know what's going to happen the next day. Like, girl, y'all got y'all had restraining orders against each other. At what point were you ever going to be coming in contact with her that you had to be that afraid? Like, come on, seriously. You dragged it all out for a freaking storyline this whole freaking season. What else do I want to speak on that happened last night? I think I'm going to get tired of I can see myself getting tired of Monique and this fucking binder. I can tell you that. I can tell you that. And I sure do hope that the rest of the contents of that binder, when it comes out, I hope that it's not some late and delayed stuff that people were already aware of. Because that whole Jamal Bryant stuff. And then what? I'm still tickled at the fact that she just had to say, like, she had to use the characteristic big. That big black dick. Like, come on. Like, that was unnecessary. You didn't have to say that part. Karen got caught in a couple of lies when they spoke of Karen didn't want Wendy on the show at all. I saw something earlier saying that her words were she didn't want a dark skinned woman on the show. She's not Potomac because she's dark skinned. It's not shocking to me, because some women feel like that. It's sad, but it's not shocking. The whole thing about the fake and fraud Fendi dress, and she said that, you know, she had to have it tailored so it wouldn't fall off her shoulders. But ma'am, okay, so one of the F would be missing. But what about the rest of the shirt or the rest of the dress? Because the top of it just said indie, indie, indie all the way around. Miss, just own them to the fact that you had on some fake Fendi, and while you were wearing it on national show that's being filmed and going to be watched nationally, and be called out about it. I don't know, but I will say that when Andy looked back at all of their looks and how they've grown over the years, I can say that she's doing a whole lot better with her hair. Whoever the guy is that did her wigs, he did a great job. He did a really good job with her. Because whoever was helping her at first, no. Is it just me, or did it look like she? I don't know if she did it this season, at some point during this season or after the season was filmed or whatever, but it looked like she got fillers in her cheeks too. So it looks like she got her cheeks filled in and stuff like that. I didn't even notice the tip of the nose stuff that she was talking about on it when they were talking about plastic surgeries and stuff like that. But that's it. I think that those are my only thoughts. I can't think of anything else that I wanted to bring up that happened last night. Yeah, that was it. That's my 2 cents about the Real Housewives of Potomac's reunion part 1 for this year. I don't know if I'm going to like keep reviewing different shows. I think I might just start hopping on here. Just saying my thoughts whenever I get ready. If I have a couple of thoughts about something, I'm not going to be one of those YouTubers that review shows like that. I don't think. It's too much to try to sit back and remember and recall, because it's like you watch it for your own entertainment and then try to recall everything you saw and then come and make a video about it. Because I can tell you now, I'm not about to sit and make any notes and all that kind of stuff like that. So just give you the thoughts off the top of my head. Give you my thoughts, my opinion on what I saw off the top of my head. Looking forward to the rest of this reunion. It's going to be something. It's going to be something. But, alright guys, you enjoy the rest of your Monday. Have a good one. Look at this. I know, trifling. I was testing out polishes to see what kind of polish I wanted to put on. But, have a great one. Bye.